Hey everyone, it's Nata here and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to knit baby hoodie or baby sweater for age 12 months. There is a garter pattern on the bottom, not a rib, I liked it. Knit it in a simple pattern of purl and knit stitches. As always, all information is in the description box. So, sit your cord towards the hood. The sleeves are also knitted without rib and are therefore slightly tapered. There is a small seam on the hood. If you knit with a stockinette pattern, you can sew it using the method stitch to stitch. Okay, back view, and if you like it, let's begin. Okay, materials that will be needed. Yarn. White yarn I used for a cord, only for a cord. The main yarn is the bobbin yarn. 3 strands held together. The composition of the yarn is such a good, easy. The main knitting needles are 5 mm, the knitting needles 4 mm are used only for hollow rib. You can do without them. Also markers, scissors, tapestry needle, tape measure, scrap yarn, and okay. I'm going to cast on 101 stitches. How to cast 10 stitches with an Italian method, I leave the video. I tell everything in great detail in it. The hollow rib in combination with an Italian casting on looks well. I use smaller needles so that the hollow rib does not look rough. For beginners, it is important to take your time and carefully cast on each stitch. And now I'm going to cast on the last stitches with the usual way. Okay. The first row and the first stitch, knit stitch in this row. To the next row, 8 stitch, slip stitch. This stitch, knit stitch. Next, yarn forward and slip stitch purlwise and knit 1 and slip stitch purlwise 1 and knit 1 and yarn forward, slip stitch purlwise 1 and continue to the end of row. Well, and the last stitch, purl 1 stitch and turn. Second row, slip 8 stitch and repeat the same. Knit 1, yarn forward, slip stitch purlwise, knit 1, yarn forward, slip stitch purlwise, knit 1, yarn forward, slip stitch. Well, and the last row of hollow rib I'm going to knit this way. Knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. This row will close the hollow rib. I knitted the 13th row and now I'm going to change the knitting needles and start knitting the main pattern. Okay, now we have knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Next row we will knit like this. Where the knit stitch was, we knit the purl stitch, and where the purl stitch was, we knit the knit stitch. Slip each stitch. Next step, we see the purl stitch, then we knit the knit stitch. And if we see the knit stitch, we knit the purl stitch. This is our main purl pattern, alternating purl and knit stitches. And in this way we knit 40 rows. Well, I got 5.7 inches. And now I'm going to place markers and knit some short rows. Placing markers this way: 7 stitches, 6 stitches 3 times, 51 stitches, 6 stitches 3 times, and 7 stitches. After each marker we will have a turn stitch. Turn the work and make a double stitch and knit until the next marker. In total we knit 8 short rows. So the first short row we knit 7 stitches, 3 times 6 stitches, and 51 stitches and 6 stitches. Skip marker and turn the knitting. Slip stitch and make double stitch like this. Okay, and knit to the next marker. Okay, making turns and double stitches to avoid holes in the knitting work. We will knit 8 rows. We knit double stitches knitwise through the front loop or purlwise through the back loop as the pattern shows us. Well, now I'm going to cast off stitches of hood. I cut the yarn in order to sew the hood, and now I'm going to take the yarn from the ball and start casting off stitches. Edge stitch slip, knit 1 and over, knit 1 and over, knit 1 and over. Cast off all 101 stitches and start sewing. So place the casted off edge of the hood parallel to each other, and with the tapestry needle insert to the edge stitch like this and pull the yarn. Next, insert the tapestry needle to the second stitch and connect with the same one on the other side. and continue to the end. Okay, hide the tail of yarn, cut the yarn and block as desired. Well, the hood is turned out. Next step, let's start it. Now I'm going to pick up 44 stitches of the hood and 16 stitches of borders and place the markers. Take the yarn and cast on 8 stitches of border. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, next pick up 44 stitches. I'm going to pick up each stitch. This stitch and this stitch and next stitch and continue to the end. Well, and also cast on 8 stitches of border. And I'm going to knit border with pattern of hollow rib. First stitch knit 1, purl stitch slip, knit 1, yarn forward, purl stitch slip, knit 1, yarn forward, slip. And let's start to place the markers. Knit 6 stitch and place marker. Next stitch of Raglan line, front side and purl stitch. Place marker. Next 7 stitches of the sleeve. Marker, stitch of Reglan line, purl onto front side, marker, next 14 stitches, stitches of back, Place marker, third stitch of Reglan line, place marker, and the same 7 stitches of sleeve, and the last stitch of Reglan line, place marker, six stitches of front part, and 8 stitches of border. And the border is also knitted with the hollow rib. All markers are placed, and we knit 8 short rows to lengthen the back. So we start knitting. In the front row we make increase before and after the Reglan stitch. Knit 2 sleeve stitches and turn the work. Okay, right side, 8 stitches of border, knit with hollow rib, next 6 stitches of front piece, and make increase. Okay, place marker, Reglan stitch, knit stitch, make increase, and continue 7 stitches of sleeve, make increase, marker 1, Reglan stitch, knit 1, marker, make increase, 14 stitches of back piece, and make increase, marker, 4th Reglan stitch, marker, make increase, and 2 stitches of sleeve. Total 7, and now I'm going to knit 2 stitches. Okay, and turn the work, slip stitch and make a double stitch. For one side we knit all stitches according to the pattern to the first sleeve. If you make increases in the same way as I do, Then knit the increase stitch the same as the next stitch. If the next stitch is purl, then the increase will be purl, and vice versa respectively. Knit 16 stitches of the back piece. Knit the increase stitch and stitch of the Reglan line. Okay. This increase stitch and 2 stitches of first sleeve. One, two. Okay, turn the knitting work. Make a double stitch, slip stitch, and pull up, and knit 2 stitches, make 1, Raglan stitch, make 1, knit 16 stitches, make 1, slip marker, knit 1 and make 1, knit 2 double stitch, okay, and knit it through the front loop. Knit 2 stitches and turn the knitting work. Well, for throw, make double stitch, knit 5 stitches, next purl 1, knit 18 stitches of back piece, 1, 2, 3, 4. Double stitch through the front loop and 2 stitches and turn. Well, the 7th row, second sleeve. I'm going to knit 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 double stitch, and next Raglan line make 1 before, knit 1 and make 1 after. Next 6 stitches of front part and 8 stitches of border. We knitted hollow rib. Put marker here. 8 stitches of border. Okay, knit them. Now I'm going to knit 8th row. It is the last row of short rows, wrong side, and I'm going to knit 8 stitches of border, 7 stitches of front piece, Raglan stitch purlwise, 12 stitches of sleeve, Raglan stitch, 22 stitches of back piece, Raglan stitch, 12 stitches of sleeve, Raglan stitch, 7 stitches and the same 8 stitches of border. Well, knit all stitches, don't forget about the last double stitch. Here, knit all stitches. So good, and I'm going to count all the stitches. Front 7, sleeve 12, back part 22. Okay, total I got 80 stitches. Then we make increases in Reglan lines in each front row. There will be 192 stitches on the needles. Okay, such a good, measurable, length is 5.1 inches, 192 stitches. And next step, I'm going to transfer the stitches of sleeves with Tapstry needle and Scrab yarn. Transfer the stitches and these stitches, and I'll show you how to make a buttonhole. It should be done in the 5th or 6th row from the beginning. Knit the stitches of the border, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And next stitches on front, I'll also take the Reglan stitch to the front. Slip the markers and with the tapestry needle collect 40 stitches. And block the scrap yarn. Okay. And now I'm going to make 3 increases. 1, 2, 3. And continue to the knit my stitches of back part to the next sleeve. Take the Reglan stitch to the back. This Reglan stitch take to the back too. And also collect stitches on the scrap yarn with the tapestry needle. 3 increases. Okay, and knit the front part and the border. Raglan stitch to the front part and knit to the end of row. So, buttonhole. This is not difficult. About 10 or 11 rows between the buttonhole. Look front side and knit 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 stitches. 5. Turn and repeat. Slip stitch. How to knit the hollow rib. Knit 1, purlwise, slip, knit 1, purl 1, turn, edge stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 1, turn, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn, knit 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and make 2 increases, 1, 2, and continue to knit to the end of row and back here. Slip marker and knit 1 stitch, 2 stitch and 3 stitch, turn and knit 2 stitches together. My stitch and 1 increase stitch, 2 stitches together. Okay, and turn. Next, knit as hollow rib, slip stitch, knit 1, slip stitch, and again back and forth to the end of row and back here. And back. Once, 2 stitch and turn the stitch and knit 2 stitches together. Okay, and continue to the end of row. Slip, knit 1, slip, purlwise, knit 1 and purl 1. Check it out. Such a buttonhole is turned out for a small button. If you want more, then make more rows and more yarn over. More rows and more yarn over. Okay, next step is body. On my circular needles I have 118 stitches and I'm going to knit 66 rows. So well, length is 14 and point inches, and now I am going to knit garter pattern 6 rows. I have 4 buttonholes. The border remains as it was. The main pattern is a garter pattern. I will knit this row and start from the front side. We start from the front side and all the rows of knit stitches. We will cast off on the front side but knit purl stitches. Cast off stitches of the bottom and we'll start to knit the sleeves. Here's the result. It's pretty good. Will not lose shape. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the stitches of sleeve, 40 stitches to remove from the scrap yarn, and pick up 9 stitches from armhole. I'll mark these 9 stitches with markers, and in each next row I'll make decreases until 3 stitches remain. Now I'll show you everything. First we collect 40 stitches on the knitting needles and remove the scrap yarn. Well, now I'm going to pick up 9 stitches. Here I'm going to take markers, yarn, and let's begin. Place marker and pick up 3 stitches, 3 main stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 3 stitches from the edge, so that there are no holes. And 1, 2, 3, and 3, one more, 1, 2, 3, and place marker. Then we continue to knit according to our pattern and knit to the first marker. Knit it to the marker, and now I'm going to make decreases. Slip marker, this 2 stitch and this 2 stitch. Middle stitches are purl stitches. These 2 stitch together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 stitches together purlwise. Okay. Remain 7 stitches and continue. Repeat the same. Continue to knit according to our pattern and knit to the first marker. So, next decrease. 2 stitches together purlwise, knit 1, purl 1, next knit 1 and 2 stitches together purlwise. Okay, and remain 5 stitches. Continue to knit according to our pattern and knit to the first marker. Remain 5 stitches. Okay. And I'm going to make the last decrease of armhole. Slip marker, 2 stitches together knitwise, purl 1 and 2 stitches together knitwise. Okay, remain 3 stitches as I want. I'm going to leave only one marker on the middle stitch. This is the marker for the beginning of the row and for the next 3 decreases. I'm going to make 3 more decreases in row 11, row 21 and row 31. We continue to knit in the round without decreasing until the 11th row. Then we will make decreases here and here, 2 stitches together here and 2 stitches together here. Okay, knit according to the pattern and knit in 11th row. Eleventh row, 4th decrease, knit 2 stitches together purlwise, and next I continue to knit according to our pattern and knit to the marker. To the last 2 stitches. And knit the 2 stitches together. Repeat this decrease 2 more times and knit 37 stitches, 13 rounds. Our little sleeve is almost torn out. Now we knit 6 rounds of a garter pattern and cast off stitches to narrow the whole little. Thirty-eighth round, and I'm going to knit all purl stitches. It's a right side, front side, and all stitches purl stitches. Next round, all stitches are knit stitches. Well, cast off stitches. Knit purlwise, then knit 2 stitches together purlwise 2. Okay, and over first stitch. Next 2 stitches together purlwise and over, and again 2 stitches together purlwise and over. We need 2 stitches together so that the sleeve is narrower. Well, so good. Next, cut the yarn. And with the tapestry needle, we hide the tail. like this. Insert to the first stitch and pull up. And block as desired. Well, this is how we got it all. Okay, the second sleeve, repeat everything all the same. Pick up 40 stitches, pick up 9 stitches to make decrease and knit. Check it out. That's how we did a good job and got such a city hoodie. Next step is blocking, sew the buttons, insert the cord and wear it with great pleasure. If my video was helpful, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm very glad you. Bye bye.